the little quirks, it's the messy parts of their story, it's the less polished things that we all think make us unqualified that actually make the biggest impact on the people that you're going to speak to.
We're in an evolution, and I think, Lindsey, you represent evolution better than most people that I know. I mean, you're constantly evolving, and we love following somebody on an evolutionary journey. That's what's fun. We don't want to see the perfection. We want to see the chapter 1.
The more that I share just my authenticity, my heart, my messy moments, the more impacted people are. The truth is, your worthiness has nothing to do with any results you've produced. It has only to do with one thing.
Welcome to the Jen Gottlieb Show.
Hi, my friend. Welcome back to the Jen Gottlieb Show. So excited about this episode because what you are about to watch is a recording from a live in-person event. And I'm interviewing on stage one of my best friends, Lindsey Marie. Lindsey is the founder of Powerhouse Women, which is one of the biggest and most impactful female entrepreneur events there is. I spoke there. It is absolutely epic. She's also the creator and host of the Powerhouse Women podcast. And in this episode of our YouTube channel, if you're watching YouTube or the podcast, you're going to hear an interview with Lindsey. And this interview was the first time that she came out about probably the hardest year of her entire life. And what you're about to witness is a transformation in real time. There was not a dry eye in the room for this interview. Lindsey went through probably one of the hardest, challenging years and some of the most challenging things that anybody could go through. She went dark for a while. She disappeared and worked on herself. And she has come back on the other side better and stronger than ever before. In fact, it was so powerful that the audience was losing their minds at this event. There was not one person that did not stay after to talk to Lindsey. There were tears. It was just an incredible, incredible transformation happening in real time. And I'm so excited that I get to show it to you and have you listen to it and experience it, because I watched my friend go from the shit to the shift in real time. It was magical to see all of the wisdom that she ended up gaining from one of the darkest times in her life. And to see someone go from that place to the transformation on the other side and to witness it on stage. So, man, in that moment of, oh my gosh, I now realize what that was all for. There's nothing better. So in this episode, you're not only going to get to hear her experience throughout this transformation and everything that she learned going through a very, very, very difficult time, going into deep healing and coming out the other side, but you're also going to hear some tactical tips on how to get booked on big stages like Powerhouse Women, what she looks for in a speaker, how to build a brand, how to build a community. You're going to hear questions from me, questions from the audience. And if you're watching on YouTube, you're going to get to see her incredible red outfit. So you definitely want to check this out on YouTube. And if you are curious about the event that she's speaking in, it is the Stage Leaders Live Experience that I host at the very end of my 8-week Stage Leaders program. Good news for you is if you want to become a speaker or become a better speaker than you already are, or if you have a business and you have a desire to start to generate leads and sales and an audience through stages and you have no idea how to do it, Stage Leaders might be for you. If you want to find out more on how you can join when we get started in August, all you have to do is click the link in the show notes to get on the wait list, and you will find out all of the details on how you can join us for our next cohort. So without further ado, please enjoy Lindsey Marie.
Hi, friend. We haven't seen each other in person since March, so it's so hard not to just drop into girlfriend catch-up right now.
It was weird. I was ready to let you guys just keep going with your descriptions for like the rest of the day because I just wanted to tap in, but I'm so happy that we get to now talk in front of everyone and hopefully give you guys a really good look at the back end of an event planner. This is really what I want to dive into first, Linz, because everybody here is here because they want to speak on stages. And you run an event that started as a little baby event and now is massive. It's a movement. It really is. It's an incredible community. And people I know are calling you and asking you, can I speak on your stage? You don't even need to pay me. I know that for a fact. That's the type of event that you want to build. So you have your pick of the litter. And I would love for you to start off by sharing, when you see a speaker at your event, crush it and make an impact in the room, what stands out for you? What makes a great speaker for you at your event? And then what are you looking for when other people are pitching you and asking, can I speak at Powerhouse?
Yeah. I walked in at the perfect moment because as I was just prepping for today, which just means I was sitting and thinking about all of you and thinking about when I was in your shoes and wanting to be on stages and just knowing that I had a message that was meant to be shared. That's why you're all here, right? There's something inside of you that's like, there's something I am supposed to share. And When I am planning my event, the number one thing that I do is I listen so deeply to my intuition. I'm looking to connect with someone's story, and I'm looking for, above all else, authenticity. And I know that word gets thrown around a lot, and I would even say my connection with what is authentically me has evolved a lot, especially over the last year. But there's a resonance when someone is just true to who they really are. And it's the little quirks, it's the messy parts of their story, it's the less polished things that we all think make us unqualified that actually make the biggest impact on the people that you're gonna speak to. So I have a little bit of a different process. I don't take any speaker applications, submissions. I do have a lot of people in the industry who will connect or we'll do a podcast together and they'll express interest. And I always kind of have this running list of people in the back of my mind. But when I drop into the energy of that year, because each year of my event tends to take on a life of its own, there's a different message that is asking to be shared. I know intuitively who's going to help me deliver that message and who might be amazing. It's just a no for that year. And I think that's important to share because I know when I'm on the other end and I'm pitching myself for opportunities or podcasts or things of that nature, it can be really easy for me to attach my worthiness to someone's yes. And it's so not about us. It's almost never about us. And I think I actually grow, I'm kind of stepping now into the other position as a speaker. I grow more from the no's than I do from the yeses. So I want to make sure to say that too.
I love it. And we've been talking about authenticity all day. And this is why I've been telling them to get on stage not knowing what they're going to say, to just speak from their heart. Just if you were with your friends at lunch and you were just telling them about who you are and what you do, just share it the way that you would share it when you say like I'm an asshole or whatever.
That was my favorite, by the way. I walked into that, immediate best friends.
See? The authenticity is key. And I want to talk about you now as a speaker because you speak a lot and you have a top podcast. So if you haven't listened to the Powerhouse Woman podcast, you should definitely subscribe to that because she has epic, huge guests on that. When you started speaking, what was that experience like for you when you took your first stage? I think you have a photo for us, so maybe you can just show us the photo and give us the experience.
Sure. This is actually me. If you guys have that photo, you can put it up on the screen. Not a paid actor. That is me with long dark hair. Because, as you are growing, as you're stepping into your authenticity, I don't know about you, but as I've transformed, so has my physical appearance. There have been times where I've just been like, I don't know who this is that I'm looking at in the mirror because I've changed so much on the inside. So full permission to completely change your hair and life. But I will never forget this speaking engagement. I had previously been in the network marketing industry and had done some speaking for that profession, but that was always someone else's words or someone else's presentation and I was delivering it. I felt great on stage, but I went through this season where I was feeling really restless, felt called to write a book, which was the last thing on the planet I was qualified to do. I had this little blog that I had tried to launch while I was in my health girly era. And it was called Love Lindsey. Wasn't that cute? They say publish consistent content if you want to really get out there. So I consistently published one article per year for 3 years. I was consistent, and I never shared it with a soul because I was like, who am I to put my thoughts out there? I was so afraid of being criticized. So I find a program that helped entrepreneurs get their message out in the form of a book. I think it's really important to share that. I didn't get a book deal. I paid someone a lot of money to hold me accountable to finish a book. And I was about to, I think this happened a few months before my book was about to be released. And what happened was I was in the middle of an identity shift. Is anyone here in the middle of like an identity shift? You were known for one thing, you want to be known for something else. And especially I was very highly celebrated and recognized for the thing that I wanted to leave behind. So this felt like the dumbest idea in the entire world. But as I was writing this book, I knew there was a deeper message. I knew that I wanted to talk to people about stepping into their purpose, fulfilling their dreams. And I wrote this book feeling like such an imposter. And I remember this time period where I was preparing my nervous system to step into this new identity. And I used to do some youth mentorship in Phoenix, where I'm from. And I was at this youth mentor center, that rhymes unintentionally. I was there, okay? And I met this total stranger. Now, total strangers are the perfect person to practice your new identity on, because they don't know. I could have said, I'm an astronaut, and he would have been like, cool, all right. So this gentleman walks up, he introduces himself, and he says, who are you? What do you do? You kind of have that conversation. And for the first time, I don't remember what came over me, but I just knew that I was about to launch a book. I needed to tell people I wrote a book because I hadn't told a soul. Don't follow me for book promotion tips. And what came out of my mouth next was, I'm Lindsey, I'm an author and a speaker. And then I wanted to throw up, okay? So I'm just like, what's he gonna say? And he says, oh my gosh, that's amazing. What do you speak on? I don't even remember what came out of my mouth next, but I shared kind of what my book was about. And he said, you know who I need to introduce you to? A friend of mine runs a women's business accelerator. It's like a think tank.
Yeah.
Sure, something like that.
Mastermind.
Yeah, there's a different word that's trying to come through. It was for female entrepreneurs launching businesses. And he said, they're always looking for speakers. I'm gonna connect you. So he connects me, one thing leads to the next, and before I know it, I'm asked to speak. I think there were, you're seeing the entire audience in this photo. There were approximately 7 people. And I had spoken in front of hundreds for the previous network marketing company, but I remember staying up all night. I remember how sweaty my pits were right here. That's why my arms are down like this, never this, right? And staying up until 3 a.m. just wanting to get it so right. Does anyone else do that? Did you do that before coming into today? You were just like staying up and obsessing over it. And I just remember getting there in the morning and I just knew that I had prepared enough. And I let myself speak from the heart. And I had notes and I had things that I could fall back on, but I don't know if you can see this on the table, maybe in front of the woman with the pink scarf. You can see a little bell, like one of those at a hotel desk, a bell.
Oh yeah, I see.
And what they did, which was so brilliant, is they had this already established relationship with each other where if someone in the room shared something that really resonated with you, they would ring the bell. So what started to happen, and I think God kind of gives us these little winks to be like, you're going in the right direction, keep going. Because as I'm talking, all of a sudden I hear ding. And at first I was like, yes, God? And they said, oh, here's the bell and this is what it means. So as I'm sharing this thing that felt so vulnerable that I felt like, who am I to be sharing this? Everybody knows this. And it was like this visceral reflection that people were getting something from my courage to put myself out there. And I left that day speaking to all 8 of those people. And I knew, I was like, this is what I'm meant to do. Like, this is my purpose. It changed me. And I think a lot about just the courage that I had, number one, to introduce myself as the future version that I wasn't yet. I was saying, this is who I want to become, but it was also authentic for me to say, I am an author and a speaker. You know those moments where you kind of want to say, oh, I do this little thing, but I just owned it. I said, no, I wrote a fucking book, so I'm an author, and I've been a speaker, so I just said, I'm an author and a speaker. Even though on the inside, that part of me that wants to talk me out of everything that I'm here to do in this lifetime wants me to believe I'm not qualified for, I let that part feel uncomfortable, and I just said it with conviction, and then and it changed my life. It literally changed what I knew inside I was meant to do, and so I love looking back on this picture and remembering that.
I love it. What was the topic of the talk that
No idea. Absolutely.
You don't even know.
No clue. Absolutely no.
So
I'm sure it was something about my book.
Right.
You know?
And that's not the thing that you talk about now. Yeah. And I think that it's really important. I love when people share their first chapter, right? Because often we're sitting here like our first chapter, our first talk needs to be what our 20th chapter is going to be, or what Lindsey's 20th chapter looks like now. I bet you that what you're talking about today, I would bet I mean, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm like in the 90s, that what you talk about today will not even be close to the thing that you talk about 5 years from now.
Yeah.
So we're in an evolution. And I think, Lindsey, you represent evolution better than most people that I know. I mean, you're constantly evolving, and we love following somebody on an evolutionary journey. That's what's fun. We don't want to see the perfection. We want to see the chapter 1. And I would love to talk about the way that you prepare now, because when you watch Lindsey on stage, you'll all go to Powerhouse, hopefully, and you'll see that Lindsey goes up and she basically just feels like she's just talking off the cuff. And when I went there, I was like, is she just talking off the cuff right now? Because she's giving a brilliant keynote with stories and everything makes sense and everything ties together. It's the type of keynote that you pay $50,000 to somebody to create for you. And I'm like, I don't think she prepared for this. What does your preparation look like? And there is no right or wrong way. I just want you to hear every way that there is. So Linz, when you get up on stage at Powerhouse, what do you do?
Yeah. I feel like, I don't know if anyone's seen that Instagram trend right now. It's at the risk of being a bad influence. This is what I've learned about myself. And I do think it's important to say, because for a long time, I felt very deeply, this is the type of speaker I'm mostly meant to be. And I also think I've reached out to you and I've asked for us to work together, because I also want to lean into what would it feel like to have something that a little bit more planned and prepared that still has plenty of room for me to just show up in my authenticity that day. But the thing that I've had to accept, especially when it comes to hosting my own event, where the people in the room, or a room like this, where I know these are like-minded people, I kind of know that we're gonna have a certain resonance. I don't get clarity about what I'm supposed to say. And last year there's 800 people in the room. So just imagine, you're feeling like the weight of I'm holding space for 800 people. And I didn't fully it didn't drop in the full clarity until about 24 hours before. 24 to 48. Now, because I trust so deeply that I could walk up on the stage with nothing prepared, and the moment I was saying in the back, they were asking, how do you prepare? I said, I need to be in their energy, and right now, speaking to all of you, none of this is prepared, but this is the kind of speaker I am. I'm like a heart-to-heart speaker. There will be things I say that I don't know why I said it, but one of you needed to hear it, and I really just trust that. And then the moment I get off stage, here's one of my biggest keys to success. I don't trust anything I say to myself about myself for 24 to 48 hours. Because oftentimes, the thing that I'm like, oh, that was so cringe, or I told that story, it was so embarrassing, and then I'll get the DM from the person who's like, that was why I was there. So I just trust, like Jenny said, if you are really in your authenticity, and you trust that whoever you believe is speaking through you, whatever higher power you believe in, if you have one, then all of it is medicine. It's all for the people in the room, whether you felt like it was your best or not. So I deeply trust that, and I also focus more on what's the impact that I want to make, and I trust that the words themselves are gonna come. And now I've hosted my event. This year will be 9 years. So I know that I'm creating an emotional experience. So we have openers who create the hype and the energy. And then my number one assignment right away is to drop people deeply into their heart so they can connect with one another, and so that they can see that their deepest fears, they are not the only one who's experiencing that. So if I know going in, that is my intention, it almost doesn't matter the words that I'm saying, because what I've noticed, and maybe what you can start to just notice if this is true for you as you're spending this time with us, is I don't think it matters the words that I'm saying. I think people can feel me, and that's what leaves the impact. So when we're in our heads, we're not connecting like that. I have to be dropped into my heart in order to connect with you in a way that you're gonna feel. And you may not remember what I said. You might write down oh, that was really powerful, she had this quote. But it was more what you felt when I said it, and that's what makes me an impactful speaker.
You're listening to The Jen Gottlieb Show.
It's so perfect that I had you here today. Everything is divine. Like, it's because we started this day off with me telling them, many people here were upset with me because I didn't give them any preparation for today.
Oh, I love that.
I told them zero information. And the type A's in the room were like, am I gonna have to do my talk on stage? What is going on? I haven't gotten any information. And I opened with saying, I purposely did this for you guys, not to you, but for you. Because I've taught you all the frameworks and the mansion and the blueprints and all the stuff, and you have it. Put it away. What I wanted you to do in this room is exactly what Lindsey is sitting here telling us that she does on such a high level. She knows her stuff. She does the work, and then she lets it go, and she gets on stage, and she allows her heart to do the talking. That's what I'm trying to get you guys to do. That's the difference between being a speaker and a stage leader. Someone that leads people through a story, through an emotion, into action. You do that better than anyone that I've ever met. And that was why I wanted to have you here.
Thank you.
I saw her do that and I was like, that was mad. What the hell just happened? She did, like, as I knew you didn't really prepare. I mean, in a way, like she wasn't like rehearsing with a coach. You were just tapping in. Yeah.
And I get really mad if I think of a funny joke too early on, because if I play it over too many times in my head, it doesn't land. But then so I just have to trust that like the zingers are gonna come when I'm on stage.
Wait,
what was that one about
Tom?
Todd? I go on this whole rant about, and you came up, you're like, did you plan that?
It was unbelievable. She was just in a zone. We can't repeat it because it wasn't perfect, I know, and then they won't understand. But you start telling jokes when you're just in the zone.
The thing to know is I'm very funny, okay? Yeah, see?
We were talking about comedy today and how important it is. You are very funny. I want to talk about this stage brain thing. I think it's important, and then we'll open it up for you guys to ask Lindsey questions. But it's funny that you said, I really like that. I don't listen to anything that my mind tells me 24 hours after I speak. And I think I shared with you guys this concept that I came up with. I mean, I think it's already a concept, but I gave it a name. And I call it stage brain, because every time I get off of a stage, the same exact thing happens to me, no matter how long I've been speaking for. No, even if like there are events that I wasn't even that nervous about, every time, no matter what, I talk smack to myself immediately, and I'm immediately in this weird mood for about 24 hours where I'm like, I should be so happy, and I'm just like almost depressed.
Yeah.
It's weird, and I looked it up, and it's actually a scientific thing that happens because your brain does this big dopamine dump, this big adrenaline dump, and then you're in a low, and then of course you're overthinking all the stuff that you just did up here and you have a vulnerability hangover. Lindsey, if you would be so kind to share with us, just because we feel better when we're not alone, what are some of the things that your brain tells you after you get off stage and then you realize 24 hours later, oh no, that was BS, and how do we move through that 24 hours?
Yeah, it's so real, you guys. I will have it the moment I step off of this stage. Every single one of you could come up and say, you changed my life. I will never be the same. I just made $1 million instantly. And I would find like someone walking out in the hallway, I'd be like, that person looked at me weird. What were they judging me for? And what it is, I've had to realize that, the brain is always trying to keep us safe. And the thing that we fear often the most, because it's rooted in very real survival emotions, is we fear rejection. Criticism feels like a form of rejection. And we ultimately just want to connect. That's why you feel the call to speak, is you have a deep desire to connect with people. And what I notice is that the moment I step off stage, my mind is searching for reasons why what I just did, which was so brave, like it's brave of me to be here right now. No matter how many times I've done this is the most courageous thing I will do all day, because I'm sharing my heart with you. And no matter my intention behind it, bless you, is you might misunderstand it, you might misunderstand me. I might trigger something in you that I didn't mean to trigger and I didn't want to, but even that was probably the reason why I'm here. And I've just had to accept that we're all just walking around playing a role in each other's lives, and the person who has the courage to be really, really visible while they're doing that is also someone who's gonna need to be equipped with tools to manage the safety mechanisms that are triggered by visibility. And this is a very visible thing that we're doing. So what has helped me is learning about the brain, learning about what's actually happening. I didn't know the part about the dopamine dump. That makes so much sense, because then you're kind of in a lull. And when I say just a blanket statement, I just don't believe anything I say to myself about myself. But when it comes up, now I have a process, because therapy, of just saying like, oh, thank you so much. I know you're just trying to keep me safe right now. And I know that, we went in with the intention of one thing, and yeah, there was that one person in the back who looked like they were having a terrible time. Didn't laugh at that joke that was funny. But we don't know what was going on with them. And all we know is that you were coming from a pure place of wanting to make an impact, and I don't get to decide if I'm the hero or the villain in someone's story. So can I just accept that my mission here is to be a channel to share whatever is trying to come through, and then I don't get to say what happens from there? It was the same thing I did, I remember, when I released my book, and I was so afraid. But I remember saying this prayer, and I just released it. I was like, okay, my part here is done. Now whatever happens from here on out, I don't get a say in. Because again, the way that my mind tries to keep me safe is it goes into control mode. So if you find yourself kind of spiraling, I would recommend having great friends. People in this room is a good place to start, where you can say, hey, I just did something really, really brave, and my mind's kind of spiraling right now. I know not to listen to it, but could you send me a voice note back telling me 3 things that you really love about me, or 3 of the ways that I've impacted you? Ask for it. If you need a little validation, honey, go get it, okay? Because we want to start to reinforce to our nervous system that visibility is safe. So save a folder of screenshots of people who came up afterward, and ask them. If someone comes up to me and says something really beautiful, I'm like, will you write that down for me? Will you send that to me in a DM? I'd love to screenshot it and add it to my love folder. Because on the days that I need it, on the days when I'm like, who am I to be doing this? They happen all the time still. I go back and I remember, that's right, I am just the vessel. I don't have to be perfect. In fact, the less perfect I am, the more of an impact I seem to make. It's really annoying. So I'm a Capricorn. Our birthdays are one day apart. Mm-hmm. Like, we are both have very high standards for ourselves. And I love that about me. But the more that I share just my authenticity, my heart, my messy moments, the more impacted people are. And again, it's kind of annoying because I want to be able to just show up and be perfect. But turns out that's not my ministry in this life.
All right. I know we have questions for Lindsey, and I don't want to take up all of your time with my questions because I could just keep chatting with her selfishly. But I would love for you guys, we're going to open the floor. I am grateful for, and then my question is, just quick gratitude.
So this is just, okay, I'm going to give you a prompt for a question.
Okay.
Because this is what I know you've been in such good hands in this room. I want to know, what is the fear that is right now preventing you from leaving this room and completely changing your whole damn life, becoming the stage leader you're meant to be? We can talk, I'm gonna stay all day, I will be here, the happy hour, whatever's happening, I'm here for it.
Here.
We can talk about the other stuff, oh, how do you pitch? I don't wanna go there. Show me your soul, okay? Show me what is really blocking you, and let's create a transformation around that. That's the biggest gift I can give you. Oh, some hands went down.
Oh, I'm gonna get them. Actually,
I saw more hands go up.
Okay, great.
All right, Betsy.
I love how the box doc got the box here, so this is cool.
This is very cool.
Lindsey, I'm very grateful that you're here and that Jen brings you back again, because I know that you were at one of the other events years ago. So
yeah.
The one thing that I'm having a problem with, I know logically, and I tell other people who speak to do this, is that your mess is your message. But I am very uncomfortable talking about myself. So, and that's the thing that's keeping me from being successful. But earlier today, they got me to tell a pretty powerful story. But how do you talk about yourself when you're speaking, and how often do you do that?
Why? Okay, first of all, tell me your name again.
Betsy Greenleaf.
Betsy. Why is it uncomfortable to talk about yourself? What do you feel?
I feel like nobody wants to hear my shit. And even when I talk to people one-on-one, I don't really like talking about myself. I want to hear about other people. I want to hear, I want to learn and kind of suck them into my brain. I just feel like my shit doesn't matter, and who cares about my stuff? So
what's the earliest memory you have of feeling that way?
I would think about probably being bullied in 6th grade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
TV timeout. This is a room full of people, probably in my Saved by the Bell. Remember when Zach Morris would be like, okay, thank you guys. So can you hear how, like, we have to go to the root of where these fears are, because you're not someone who's meant to just hide. And by not sharing about yourself, you are hiding. You will not make the impact that you are meant to make until you are able to alchemize that wound, right? And share from the heart who you really are. So I'll answer the question of how I do that, but I want you, and we can talk afterward, I can share with you some of the practices that I do when I can remember. I was just journaling this morning about something that I'm still bumping up against, a visibility fear. And these are rooted often in very, very early memories that we sometimes even forget, or we'll remember, oh, that thing happened, but we don't realize that the little version of us made it mean something that then we carried like an identity into the future. So that's where your freedom really lies, is when you can get to the root of where that started and go back and reprogram that so you can move forward now more freely. But the truth is, does anyone else have this fear of like, I don't love talking about myself? Anyone? Okay, so just know, here's the preview of coming attractions. If that's a fear, if that's a wound for you, you will have to face it. Yeah. And it's just like you'll get to face it because there's such a breakthrough for you on the other side. But to realize that, especially when, I agree that like the whole your mess is your message, that is often true. But I think what I can sometimes see is that we think we have to tell in granular detail all these intimate details of our life, and people actually disconnect when we do that. What they connect with is, what's the universal theme? What's the common denominator of that rejection you experience, like you so beautifully were talking about earlier? What's the thing that, if you were to share the high-level version of the story, you're not actually sharing it for you. You are a reflection to awaken a similar experience in a good portion of the people listening so that they can see themselves in your breakthrough. So when I changed it like that, I'm not talking about myself for the purpose of hearing my own voice or wanting people to know me. My experiences are where my wisdom comes from. So if I can share that in a powerful way, also working on the underlying, because if we're sharing about ourselves and underneath there's an energy of, people don't want to hear this, you'll be confronted with that. You will. And it's medicine for you, because the moment you're confronted with like, that person really didn't receive it the right way, the feeling that shows up in you is just reminding you, no, there's still more there. And when you can clear that, when you can make peace with the part that was really triggered in that moment, that's where like you will have such a grounded presence. You just speak like I'm doing right now to you. I don't even know you, but I'm asking about your childhood trauma. But because I have earned the right, because I have gone there within myself. Yeah. So that's where the power is. And those of you who have really, really difficult life experiences, it means that you are someone who's going to shift lives in such a powerful way, because you are not ushered into a transformation like that unless you are meant to alchemize it and change someone's whole fucking world. Yeah.
Beautiful.
So I'm excited for you.
Thank you. That's amazing.
Get outside of your comfort zone and into your best life, one small step at a time.
Speaking. Oh my gosh. Okay, hi.
Hi.
I'm Eli Bowman. Thank you for being here.
You're
to
welcome.
speak to your question, that your prompt to us, I think one of the things that might be holding me back is just not taking the action. And I've actually been doing better recently on taking action. I had a one-on-one call with Jen, and she looked at my Instagram, she said, "You're not anywhere on your own Instagram," and she was right.
Yeah.
So she challenged me to make a video every day. I made like 28 videos.
You did.
And it's been going well. And my question for you is, there's a big increase, a spike in these women's events. I think it's wonderful, and it's really good to see. When you are booking a male speaker for your women's events.
I don't.
So men don't speak at your events?
No.
Okay. That kind of makes my question moot. Okay.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure, of course.
Do you believe you are worthy of the visibility that you want?
I do.
That's often why we hide from our own platforms.
I didn't before, but I've done a lot of deep work, and I do now.
I would say that he does. Just because I want to give you another round of applause, my friend.
And that's not to gloss over what you've accomplished thus far. There will be a shift in your energy when you know, not just believe it, when you know it. So I say that just to say that there's always layers deeper that we can go into our own process. So you guys want to hear what's been changing my life lately? This is for Eli and all of you. I'm using ChatGPT as my life coach. Okay, I'll send Jen the prompt that I use, but I would just write like your free thoughts, like why was I having trouble showing up? What is it that I'm afraid people will say? Like just free write, and then I put this prompt into ChatGPT and I say, act as my higher self. I want to see, where am I still wearing a mask? Where am I still not getting honest with myself? Where am I not seeing my own blind spots and what's preventing me from showing, like you have a powerful presence. If I did book male speakers, you would be on that list. You have a powerful presence, and when we can start to see ourselves the way others see us, that's what again, you can tell me I'm totally full of shit. I feel like there's a little teeny bit of a disconnect between other people see that in you, and I think there's another layer for you to see it in yourself. And so I put this prompt into ChatGPT, and then I say, now ask me 3 reflective questions, one at a time, help me deepen this, and then analyze it as my higher self and the way this reads me to filth. But it's helped me see where my visibility wounds are still hiding out, because I can feel it in you. You're in this room and you know like you're ready to step into that next level, but and I didn't mean to take anything away from like the growth you've done. I'm just meeting you now, and I can feel that there's like a higher level that you're being called to, and I think you know it too.
Thank you very much.
Do you want to still ask your question though? If I did it,
sure.
Invite male speakers. We'll play pretend. Maybe in the future that will change.
In a universe where you book male speakers for your female events,
yes.
What kind of things would you look for specifically in a male speaker to present to your all woman audience?
Everything I just said to you.
Okay.
Like someone who, listen, where Powerhouse Women is going, Powerhouse Women was started kind of like as this conversation for entrepreneurs, but as I've grown and as I've gone through my own transformation journey, I realized that I was never meant to teach them business. I was meant to usher them and hold their hand and be the light as they walk through their own transformation, which is how we access that power within ourselves. So anyone who is on the stage has their own version of that journey and something to contribute from it. And I feel like there's something really powerful that's gonna happen for you, as you embark on that. So remind me to send you. I'll send you guys so you can just have it in writing, the ChatGPT prompt. Again, buyer beware. But thanks, Eli.
Thanks.
Blue suit, back corner, stand up.
I'm very grateful to be here and to definitely step out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
So my question is, like, I'm in that gray area where I've been in the insurance industry for 18 years, and now that I'm stepping into the coaching business, everybody's like, Romina, are you going crazy or what? So that's like stopping me from being there.
Yeah. So you want to know how to overcome that, how to move forward?
How can I show that? I know I have been through so many adversities that it's a powerful message, but it's tough to like make everyone believe that I'm capable of being there.
Okay. The answer is in this last statement you just said. Your job is not to make anyone else believe it. Does anyone else have that kind of fear in them? They're like, but like the people around me they don't get it, yeah? That is a reflection that we don't get it yet. We're not totally anchored in. Because the moment that you are, you'll notice a shift around you. Either those people will still not get it and it just does not bother you at all, or all of a sudden you'll see people are kind of like, what she's doing is kind of cool. I don't understand it. I don't get it. So the way I look at these kind of opportunities in my own life is if I'm being mirrored something, so in this case, the people in my current industry don't get it, they don't understand, it's reflecting back to me a feeling I have about myself. So instead of trying to change their opinion, I start to turn that focus inward and say, where do I not fully believe in myself? Because what we don't realize we're doing is we're outsourcing our validation to someone else, thinking if they get it, if I can just prove to them that this is what I'm meant to do, then I will be worthy, then I can X, Y, and Z. And any of us who have that wound where we want to outsource the validation, we want someone else to tell it, listen, I got so much validation and I still did not feel worthy until I started to do the deeper work in myself of uncovering what had me disconnected from how worthy I was. And the truth is, your worthiness has nothing to do with any results you've produced. It has only to do with one thing. You are here in this body, in this lifetime, and you know you are supposed to be doing this. Yeah. That is all the validation you need, and I get it that it is so hard. It's so hard when people around you either are just kind of like meh, or when they're telling you, you're crazy, this is stupid, what are you doing? All they are doing, what I want you to hear from now on, I want you to hear, they're telling me why they couldn't do it. That's all they're telling you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then remember, I know. And just get quiet with yourself. I know I'm meant to be doing this. I have no idea how this is going to play out. I know I will have to grow into a whole different version. And yes, as you evolve, people from your past will no longer fit the future you're walking into, or the dynamic will change. That is what it is to be an evolving human, and it's hard, I'm not saying it's not, but anytime someone is criticizing you or telling you like, oh, I can't believe you're doing that, they're just telling you, they're making the case for why they couldn't.
Thank you.
Great question.
Who has not asked a question yet? Amelia.
Hi, Amelia.
Well, I want to say thank you for going here to this space, because nobody really does to this level. Okay, so my question is, what is the work? Like you saying, I've done the work.
Yeah,
I
great
feel
question.
Like I've done the work. For
Okay.
years. Like I feel like I've meditated, I've gone to events, I've
Like-
written in my journal, I've done the work.
Yeah.
And yet I take a video and I'm about to post it on social media and I'm like, I'm not posting this, I look ugly. I don't, you know what I mean? All the things, and I don't post it.
Yeah.
And I have a camera roll full of stuff that could be on social media, that could be something, and I don't do it.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. I love this question. Thank you for asking this question. Yeah. There's a big difference between, I know those of us in the room, if you're in this room, you've probably done a lot of personal development, right? That I've realized, and I just realized this within the last year, because I had done a lot of that work, and then I still felt blocked. And again, this comes with a warning label. What I've realized is that when we're calling in expansion, which all of us are, if you're in this room, you're also asking in that same moment to be shown where you're limited. And the bigger the vision we're calling in, I've just always known there's something really big for me to do here. And I was living a big life by other people's standards, but I knew there was so much more. And I just started to ask really, really bold things. Again, whatever your higher power is or whatever your meditative practice is. And I would say things like, show me what's in the way, I'm ready to see it. I will do whatever you tell me to do. And I said it with conviction. And Jen knows this. December 2023, I just turned 40. And I walk into 2024, the girl who's like, this is my year. And proceed to, as the first quarter of 2024 went on, lose every single thing that represented safety, security, where my self-worth was rooted. And my word of the year in 2024, so cute, was surprise me. But I meant it. I was in this place of I can feel the disconnect. So I'm saying this to you because you have done the work. And so it's prepared you to do the deeper work of seeing what's actually in the way. And this is obviously a longer story for another day, but what I was confronted with, and I knew it when it was happening, I was confronted with my fear, my deep fear of losing people and things that I loved. I just wanted to hold on with a death grip. I wanted to be this inauthentic version of myself, which looked really polished and really good, and she had all the plans. And I wanted this big life that was going to require me to completely release control, surrender, to admit that the relationship I was in wasn't serving me and the version of me I was showing. So I had to look at all the places in my life I was actually being so fucking inauthentic. It was the most painful experience I've ever been through. It brought me to the depths of like feelings that I didn't know a human could hold and still go on living and wanting to live. And the person that I found underneath, and I can see you getting emotional, because it's like, this is so fucking scary. It is. And this is why my mission moving forward and what I'm doing with my movement is to create safety where we know we can trust ourselves to go there because we're not going through this alone. Because you will find, especially those of you who've done a lot of work and you're still like, but I can feel this gap. There's someone else I'm supposed to be. It's probably hidden in a place within you that no part of you wants to look at. But when you do, when you find the courage to go there and know that like you've got this, like you are held by people, but also, you know, again, whatever you believe in. I remember just feeling so held, like this sucks. I don't even know who I am. My name is literally not even Lindsey Schwartz anymore. I lost my entire identity. 90% of the possessions I owned a year ago, I don't own anymore. And I've never been happier. But it was on the other side of understanding that when I called in expansion, I was asking to see this. And if I could just trust the process and surrender to it and heal deeper, so a lot of therapy. I've never done like a drug in my life, and I did like a microdosing protocol, which was really powerful and very healing. I studied Kabbalah. We're both down the Kabbalah rabbit hole. I noticed where my intuition was pulling me, and so I share this to say, when you surrender to this journey, your intuition will guide you to the people, the things, the mentors. You'll be guided, but it will be painful because it's breaking the ties to the parts of you that right now just want to keep you safe and want to keep you who you are. Does that help? Does that serve you? Does that give you like a next step? I know I was kind of speaking like in general, but that's it. That's the answer. That's the work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And feel free to talk to me afterward.
What's the last name that we should be using?
Well, I don't even really, guys, I don't really know.
Lindsey.
So, so publicly I'm just using Lindsey Marie.
Okay.
So I went through a divorce last year, and when I thought about like, who am I? The honest truth is, my first and middle name, that's the part of my name that's just me. I'm not defined by being someone's daughter, someone's wife, so I'm trying that on for now.
I like Lindsey Marie.
Great, and so my new Instagram is Lindsey Marie Official.
Great.
Yeah.
Or you could use official. No,
yeah, there you go. How funny would that be?
Okay, amazing. Well, give it up for Lindsey.